Good morning. So today I would have loved to gone fishing, but I've got too many projects here at the house that have to get done. So the first project I'm going to take on is having to do with our pool. I never did post a video of the pool installation, which I plan to do in the next day or two. But I'll give you the backstory of what happened. So we got a pool, an above ground pool, and the gentleman, we're talking about filters when we bought it and what kind of filter I wanted. I had a sand filter with a salt system on the previous pool, and I wanted another sand filter, but he said the paper filter was better, so I decided to go with the paper filter. I hate it. It's a lot of work. The maintenance on the paper filter is a lot better. They say it does actually filter better, down to like 5 microns instead of sand, which can only break down to like 10, so you're not going to filter it as clear. But we had we felt that worked really good, though the sand filter did with our last pool. So I called them up and ended up talking to the co-owner, and she was super nice and allowed me to bring in the paper filter and swap it out for a sand filter. So today that's what we're going to do, is put the sand filter together. So let me show you our pool and kind of what we're going to do. So here's our pool. We ended up buying an above ground pool. It's a 27 round. We're using this pristine blue chemical instead of chlorine, but I'm not 100% sure how excited I am about that as well. It seems like it's very costly to do, to run this. So it's like 15 bucks a week pretty much that you have to add, but it might be because I wasn't doing it right. I talked to them yesterday. So we're gonna put the sand filter here, hook it up right there to the pipes. So hope you enjoy the video. Hope you can learn something and benefit from something here today. All right, so I started doing this. I was like, hey, I didn't start the video. All right, so this is our sand filter. It is a 22-inch canister. The one that we had, the Intex brand, was only a 16. So I just started. I had to line up this bolt here as a 13-inch, 13 millimeter head. So I'm putting that on here. You got to attach that. I don't want to over tighten it. It's just so that it can have this sit on the base. And then this is going to be a drain if you ever have to drain on there. It's kind of built to have a spot there to have easier access. So I'm gonna finish tightening that up, and then we're going to finish putting all the pieces on. And because I am doing a video, I am going to follow the instructions just so that there is no quarreling on what has to be done. I don't want to show anybody something incorrect, but we're going to go through these instructions to get it set up. It is going to take approximately 250 pounds of sand, which I have right there. So we're going to get this squared away and set up, and get it going here for the day, so we have a filter on it, because we didn't run one yesterday because I had the filter in the car when I went to swap it out my lunch break. All right, so the first part is to put about 6 inches of water in here. So we're going to do that. Probably be faster if I just didn't have the nozzle on. I'll show you all a video of the inside here in a minute once I get the hose out of here. I know you kind of really can't see it, but down in there we've got some water. I'm guessing it's probably to help steady it when you start. The next part, we're going to put this cap over there, and you don't want sand to get down inside there, because that'll mess up the pump. So you put this on there, and then you're going to pour your sand down in here. And again, we're putting 250 pounds of sand. Task. Notice how this has to be done. This sand that I got is wet. If you can get sand that is not wet, I highly recommend it. They gave me this sand, you know, which they were very generous, like I said, but it's yeah, I think I'm gonna cut a bigger hole in this bag. All right, there we go. That's better. Good. So trying to find the best way to do this. We've already got 2 bags in there, but if this was dry sand, it would go in 50 times better. And trying not to lose it at the same time. Very tedious. Here, trying to hold a 50-pound bag of wet sand, so it's probably more like 60 pounds. You can see the struggle is real. By the way, while we're doing this, we're prepping the smoker for some ribs for tonight. I want something good and tasty after this. All right, that's bag 3. We're gonna get bag 4 and 5 in here, and then we'll come back. Alright, so we've got all the sand in there. You can take a look. All the sand is pretty full. And this cover just keeps that sand from getting down in there. So, we're done with that for now. I did hose this all off to make sure all the sand got off. When you put this on, you want to have these 2 valves facing the pool. Alright? And then you see this piece is going to go over that pipe there. I'm going to get any of that sand in there. It'll just end up in the pool is my understanding. So this right here, okay, this is going to ride down onto that. Alright, see? This, if I read the directions correctly, stated that it doesn't, it's not tightened until technical difficulty here trying to get it tightened up, so let's see what we got going. Oh, there we go. Okay. So it's just loose. Alright. What I do know is the pressure that this pump builds is quite a bit. So you definitely want to make sure it's tight. Once you've started it, they give you a little tool. It has notches, and those notches are going to slide over these notches here. Okay. I can't get it on there correctly. And then they want you to hold one hand on this side, one hand on this, and tighten it. He said when all the threads are gone, it's fully tightened. But I'm going to make sure, because I don't want to have a mistake here and a problem. It feels like it's pretty tight. But if this pump ever came off, it'll kill you because of much pressure is just running. There we go. All the way. Oops. I don't know if that actually tighten up another notch or not. So, all right, that looks pretty tight. This is very hard to move, so you don't want to set this up in the wrong spot, because if you do, you're not going to move it. So again, I'm just going to check it one more time, make sure I'm happy with how tight it is, because it's tight. All right, we'll see what's next. All right, so while we do all that, I want to get these ribs on here. So basically what I do is I season them up. Put my slab of ribs on here. And I'm going to leave it on a smoke setting for probably 3 hours. I'm going to smoke the ribs for about 3 hours. Then I'm going to take them off, wrap them in tin foil for another 3 hours on the cook setting, and then put barbecue right at the end. So we'll see how that comes out. All right, so we're gonna put the dirt trap onto the pump. They don't quite tell you this, you have to figure it out. This has to be put around here first. It's got little tabs. And you're going to put screws in. And I guess I don't understand why they don't make it from the factory that way, but whatever, I don't know. So we'll screw this together. Like this. Okay. So that once that's done, that's going to be held onto here. Make sure that's centered like that. And we're going to put this right over there like this. And we're going to tighten it up without cross-threading the threads or anything silly like that. Once I get close to being tight, I'll make sure I have this in a more perpendicular position. Excuse my shirt's all dirty because I was cleaning off that grate for the grill. Alright, so before I tighten it up, I just want to make sure that it looks pretty well even. So, let's see, that's pretty close. I mean, you can always change it if you need to. Okay. Alright, so that's together. Right here we've got these. One is an inlet, one's the outlet. These are just going to be adapters. Got to put an O-ring over it on both of them. I feel like I'm missing something there. But okay, there we go. And I'll just tighten up. Basically hand tighten them. Again, I don't know why you wouldn't build it with that on there, but maybe they have different applications. So I just stop asking questions. And I'll definitely, once we turn it on, we'll check for leaks, and if we have a leak, we'll fix it. So, all right. So one thing that they have not even mentioned yet was attaching the pump to the base. So there are pre-drilled holes in this, and it only lines up to one set. So, if I remember correctly. So they give you these plastic tabs. Okay, you're going to push those into the holes first. I can get them to go back in there. There we go. And there's two on the other side. We'll put those in. And then once you've got it set, you're going to push these down in there, and that's going to hold the motor. I don't know why we don't use some sort of bolt screw, but I guess they figure it's not needed or not necessary, not a big deal. I'm not sure, but really it's a cheaper way to do it. So you spend all kinds of money on that stuff. All right, so they're in, and we're just going to push these pins right in there. Keep it locked in place so that the pump doesn't move. This whole base is not secured to anything, but just the sheer weight of the pump and that sand is going to keep it from going anywhere. So, all right, I'll move on to the next step. Stand right here. Piece is going to be this hose here. This is going to take it from the filter to the top of the pump. Going to go down through the sand, filter it, and then this is the to pool side, and we're going to take the hose there back to the pool. So this is going to be interesting how to make this bend. You got a clear small washer. It's going to go on here. This pipe was already pre-assembled, so I'm just getting all the pieces. I'm just going to rotate it too, huh? Remember I told you I thought I'd have to tighten it. Well, that's tightening it for sure. All right, then we're going to take this larger O-ring, put it on here, and somehow get this hose to flex to meet here. So I'm probably going to lay this on here, and then this way I can more control this hose mess up that seal, because once that seal gets squashed, you'll be having to get a new one. This does not want to sit correctly. Hopefully none of these hoses go bad. Okay, there we go. So that's hand tightened. All right, now we'll see what's next. All right, so I'm gonna put the lid back on for this crappy piece. I noticed it's got these wings, and you want to make sure this is installed in such a way that there's hardly any room to get around all this. So I don't think you could install it another way, but definitely going to take a little figuring out here. Maybe I have to leave this in here. Yeah. All right. So put this back. There we go. The way that feels, it feels like it's breaking, but so just want to make sure, you know, that you never force anything. I've learned that over the years. If you're forcing something, you're breaking it. All right, so that's done. All right, now this valve here, we put a little O-ring on there. This is going to be the inlet, obviously, where the pump is taking water into the pool. So this is going to go in here. Tighten that up real good. Because if it doesn't, it's going to leak. And then this, I didn't know what this was for. It's clear, had no idea. This is the waste side. So when you go to clean this sand out, it's the waste end, which I kind of like better than my other pump. I happen to have extra hoses, so I'll be able to put one on here and waste the water so it's just not shooting out over here and making a big mess. So that's, I kind of like that. Again, just don't over tighten things to where you're going to break it. All right. All right, so now the second and last piece here that I believe I'm going to install is the pressure gauge. When you start these pumps, and it first initially starts, you want to see what the PSI is on a clean run. That means there's no dirt. It hasn't pulled any dirt out of the pool into the filter. And then they'll tell you, I think it's about 5 PSI. So if it normally runs at 15 and it reaches 20, when it reaches 20, that's when you want to backwash your sand. So we're gonna work on this. I'm going to twist this on here. Obviously you want it so you can read it, so you gotta be sensible with, whoops, I'm afraid of that, how far to go. That might be a problem. No, Houston, might have just over tightened something. We're going to find out if I did what I think I did, which it looks as if put that right there. We'll see. That's a cheap gauge as well. But all right, now we're going to hook up some hoses. I'm just going to use the ones we had on there before. Thunder in the background too. It's a good thing I didn't go fishing today. I'm stuck out on the water. These are extended quite a bit. So I'm going to get these back together. Alright, so I'm just going to tighten these clamps on here. There we go. I got one more over here. So loosen it up. Gotta go over the hump that they have there. Should get it on real good. You don't want these leaks. Like I said, once we first start it, we'll look for leaks so we know where any leaks might be. Look, common injury. All right, so as you can see, we've got our pump. These pools are set up with a nice valve up here that turns it off, shuts the water off in there, which I think is fantastic. Otherwise, like on the other pump, you'd have to like hold it up above so it wasn't below, getting gravity fed and all that. So I think we've got everything on here pretty well tight. We're going to see what we'll do next to start it up, make sure I have everything hooked up right. So we're going to open up the valves, which is going to fill up the pool. I'm going to open this valve up, which is going to allow the pool to fill up. It's going to kind of backfill both ways. Oh, look at that. This hose has already got a hole in it. So we're going to pause. I have a hose and we'll pick up from there. Okay, we're going to try this again. Put a new hose on. The other one was the one that we had with the old pump. Believe it or not, we only ran that pump for 2.5 months and we had already gotten a hole in it. I was kind of disappointed in that, but they said that you could to not do that. They said to just loosen that up a little bit, which obviously clearly I did, because they want this trap filled with water. So I successfully did that. So we're gonna open that back up. So this is full. You really want all the air, I guess, out of there, because when the pump starts up, I would imagine the less air it has, the better it is. So I'm looking for leaks right now. I see one right up here, and this looks like it's just going to be a tightening of the seal. So I can do that right here. Tighten that up a little more. I want to make sure that's gone. I mean, probably I can't push it on. I don't know what that is, but it's not an actual exiting hole for this, so it's actually plugged. So I don't know if it's for a different application or not. So we're gonna just try not to over tighten it. I noticed they had plumber's tape on a lot of this, so that might be the key to keeping it from leaking, because it looks like it's going to keep leaking no matter what. And like I said, I don't want to over tighten, but it's pretty tight, and it might be there was leftover plumber's tape that's actually causing it, you know. So let me shut this valve real quick. Let's see if it's still leaking. Yeah, let's just see what that looks like. I want to get it running right the first time if I can. So we'll just see what. Yeah, it's probably all this plumber's tape from last time. There's only a little bit of it there. So I'm going to do that. There we go. Let's see. Okay, so that water will come back through this pipe. Yeah, that's what it was. It was just, there's a little bit of plumber's tape left in there from the last time that kind of gave it an avenue out. Okay, so now that we've got this up, I noticed there's water coming out of the waste side a little bit. I'm going to keep an eye on that. I don't know what's going on with that. The pump has a low, high, and an off. We're going to go ahead and put it on the high setting. I'm going to have everyone back away. Just these, like I said, this is a very high pressure pump, and if that thing decides to blow off or crack, it could bring some serious injuries. So we're going to get ready to start it up. Alright, so we've started it. It's pushing all the air out at the moment. And we'll see what how that works. I'm going to just get a little closer and look for any leaks or anything. So far it looks good. I'm going to come over here and look in the pool. Push the water. I think we've got got a successful install of the sand filter. So I hope this is helpful to somebody who might be wanting to switch to a sand filter. If I have any updates or any changes, we'll let you know. But it looks like we have no leaks anywhere. Everything looks good, everything's tight, and it's running. The operating PSI, I'm gonna show you right now. So see, ours is pretty much starting at 15. So about 5 to 7 PSI over. So when it hits 20, it's time to backwash it. So if you can see up here, it's on the filter setting. You have bypass to waste, winterize, closed. There's a backwash, there's bypass to pool, and then there's a rinse. And from my recollection, when you go to clean this out, you go to the bypass to waste, it wastes the water, then you go back on the rinse cycle, it settles the sand back down, and then you put it back to filter. But all of that takes like 5 or 10 minutes to do, so it's a very easy way to do it. So we'll keep you updated, and I'll try to anyways, and let you know how it's going and how we like the filter. But it's running, as you can see, and working. So we're excited. I'm hoping this will be a lot less work for us than the other one. So I appreciate y'all watching. If you haven't subscribed, you can go ahead and subscribe. There'll be other things that we do. I like to do repairs and different product reviews and stuff. So I hope this can be helpful to you. And thanks for watching.